Hi, this is Jasmine, and this is Crazy Cat Tarot.
I know just what you need in. You want something to believe in. Looking for a deeper meaning. Maybe I've got what you're seeking. Take a bath, it's the weekend. Listen up, don't be freaking. Can't you tell that I'm peeking? Come and swim in the deep end.
Is he going to commit to you? Hello and welcome to Jasmine's Crazy Cat Tarot, and today we're asking the cards direct questions. Is he going to commit to you and this relationship? So take a look at the 5 cards, and when you've chosen one, find your timestamp in the description, and let's spill the tea together. Group 1, hello and welcome to your reading. So if you chose the Page of Cups, you're here in the right place. The question we asked is, will he commit? And I'm going to explain the cards that came out because they might be a little contradicting, but I still feel like they make sense. So maybe the person on your mind might be a bit contradicting in different ways, but somehow to you, they make perfect sense. I feel like the person on your mind, he has a lot of big dreams, a lot of big goals, a lot of things that he built up in his head. And I feel like he gets very excited, he gets very hyped up, but when it actually comes to doing it, he backs out. Last minute, he just thinks, no, actually, I'm not brave enough. He acts very brave and he wants you to see him as his knight in shining armor. But actually, underneath that armor, he is a little bit of a coward. And I think he knows this, even though he doesn't show this necessarily. I feel like he's aware that he could be better. And when I say better, I mean in a more divine masculine energy and not just a manly alpha energy. I feel like if they put on this bravado, that's exactly what it is, a show, a facade. It's been safer in the past to be on their path alone, because that way no one can leave them. I feel like love is something that they don't jump into easily or head first. And even though in their mind they can build up all these fantasies and fairy tales, when it comes to the reality of manifesting it, of acting out these plays that they've scripted in their head, they just haven't practiced their lines enough. They're not confident enough in their hearts, even though when they're playing the scenarios in their head, they're your knight in shining armor coming in to rescue you and save the day. The reality is they need a little bit of work. Their armor needs a little bit of polishing. I feel like they use their emotions as armor. And sometimes when you want to penetrate deep into their soul to really know the depths of their emotions for you, that's when they can clam up and back away. Because it still is a bit of a touchy subject for them. I feel like ultimately they want to give you love and they want to receive love. In the past, they felt a lack of love, a lack of trust and support. Hence why they thought it would be easier to walk down this road alone. Now that they've found you, I feel like they're reevaluating the situation. But there's certain things that they can't see. They have blocked themselves emotionally. And spiritually, they might also be facing blockages too. When it comes to this relationship, I feel like they're great at talking the talk and making the promises. But when it comes down to actually doing it, that's when they can chicken out. So if you have spoken about commitment and it's something that they've said they wanted, I don't feel like they were lying. I just don't think they were telling you exactly how on and off they can be. Even in the picture of the Page of Cups, there's feet floating above this guy. So sometimes when it comes down to really walking the walk, walking down the aisle, they might get cold feet. Even though their fantasies are heated, the reality is when they let themselves think about things, they can overthink it and turn themselves off and get cold feet about the situation. I do feel like they love you, and they do show love in their own way. They are a giver, and when they can give, they will. I feel like the one thing they've been reserved with, or even a bit stingy with, has been their emotions, their true feelings. Maybe you feel in a way their true intentions. In the past, they've only been out for themselves. And that can make it easier because you don't have to think about anyone else's needs or feelings. For a while they were fine just satisfying their own. But since they've met you, they realize they don't want to just be an alpha male, a big dog. They actually want to be a divine masculine. They want to level up energetically. And they want to level up with you. But they're still in the process of really tapping in and tuning in to their true divine masculine. There are still things that they're not ready to face. There's still things they're not ready to see or even admit about themselves. I don't think they'd admit they were a coward or a commitment phobe if you ask them straight out. But ultimately, I feel like their actions can speak much louder than their words. So listen to their actions as well as their words. I do feel like they mean well and they want to give you everything. They view you as something so sweet in their life and they want to keep you sweet. And sometimes that's why they can sweet talk. But I see them transforming that energy from an immature knight energy to a king energy. But sometimes even kings get cold feet. So they're just in the transition process of from becoming a page to a knight to a king. And emotionally, maybe they're still at the page stage, but you can see the potential. You can see the king energy that shines within them. I feel like they just really need to see their own and tap into that. And then they will truly match your energy. So they're not lying when they tell you, yes, they do want to commit. But maybe when they're telling you a timeline, oh yeah, maybe I'll be ready next year, the year after. Maybe that's what you really need to zone in on. When are you going to be ready? And even if they don't know, let them know you're willing to stick around and wait, as long as they prove to you with their actions that they're worth the wait. So thank you for being here with me today. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below if you resonated and what you want to see next. And God bless. Bye. Group 2, hello and welcome to your reading here today. So if you chose the Temperance card, then you are here in the right place. Let's find out, will he commit? So the cards that we pulled are the 5 of Cups, the 9 of Wands, and the 8 of Cups. All are upright, so we'll take that as a good sign. I feel like in the past, the masculine on your mind has been through a lot of grief. He has cut his losses in terms of energies, people, situations, even employment. I do feel like he has a very strong sense of self-worth, and anyone who questions his worth or makes him question his worth is cut off. And I feel like he's learned a lot of these lessons the hard way. I do feel like his growth was a process, maybe a long and drawn out one. I do feel like it took a while for him to reach his maturity, and even then, he's not at his emotional or maturity peak. I do feel like he's still learning, he's still growing, but he is a willing student of the universe. He knows that with loss comes new beginnings. And I feel like when you came into his life, you were a new beginning. You were a ray of sunshine when he was at his darkest place. I feel like you view him as your light. You view him as someone you want to create a family with, create a whole constellation of stars with. Maybe you view him as a star, and maybe in a way sometimes you can put him on a pedestal. Yeah, it sounds a bit silly, but yeah, you just think he's so cool. And the most cool thing about him is the fact that he has a past. He has grief, but he's not afraid to own it and open up and share when it comes to his past. I feel like sometimes it's a bit harder to get him to talk about the future, what his future plans are. And the reason for that is he hasn't fully discovered himself. So he's not fully set in stone about what the future is. He sees you in his picture right now, but he knows how unexpected and tumultuous life can be. So he doesn't necessarily expect people in his life to stick around. And that could be due to his own anxiety or even just trauma from the past. And I do feel like he's an energy that might need reassurance, especially when he's feeling insecure or going through a phase of feeling disconnected. You can feel like one day they're great and they love you, great form, ready to have a future. And the next day they're guarded, they're disinterested, they're disassociated when it comes to this relationship. And it's just a way of them dealing with their grief. Everyone has their own ways of coping. And sometimes for him, he just needs to cut off the past, cut off the present, and even the thoughts of the future in order to just focus on what he's really doing. This could be work-wise. And I do feel like he throws himself into work, especially when he's going through emotional turmoil. And you could understand and accept this about him. But it is something he really thinks of as his self-worth. His work reflects his worth. And he works hard. He works passionately and diligently. And with this relationship, you know he's someone who is going to be able to sustain and maintain your heart. You know he might have a dark past. He has his demons. But you see that he's actively trying to pursue and persevere. He wants success. And you see him trying to discipline himself. He's like an unshakable and unbreakable force. No matter what life throws at him, he still manages to get back up and continue to work hard. And that could be something you really admire about him. It's something that really makes you want to cling to him and really expand this relationship, because you see him as a fatherly energy, someone who works hard to provide for their family. And I do feel like it just will take him a bit of time to really give himself those flowers. Emotionally, maybe he's not ready to be responsible for other people. There are things in his past and his childhood that he is still reflecting on, still going through. He's persevering through it. He shows you his strong side. He shows you what he can do physically with his hands. He's a great builder. But when it comes to the foundations of the past, they can be a bit cracked and rocky. And sometimes you feel like you've only just scraped the surface. And there's so much more layers of this man to be revealed. I feel like you're excited to unveil every part of him. And what you really want him to do is to bare his soul and to really let you know where he's at emotionally, mentally in this relationship. Physically, he can work hard, and that's at the job site and in the bedroom. But you know there's a deeper emotional level than that. And sometimes it's easier for him to physically express his love language. But when it comes to verbally expressing it, he can be a man of few words. And in a way that can be really enticing. But sometimes when you're in the midst of it and you just want communication and conversation, especially about important matters and difficult subjects, you can feel like you're talking to a wall. I feel like he freezes up when he's uncomfortable. And when you're throwing questions at him, it's like throwing at a brick wall. His brain just goes blank. And he goes somewhere else because disassociation is a coping mechanism of his. I do feel like when you are not together, he misses you. He longs for you. He lusts after you. And even though he mightn't be able to express that in the most creative of forms, he does let you know how much he's missing you in his own way. And you really just want to go deeper. You want the honest truth about how he feels, especially about you. Because you wonder, why am I getting so invested into him, his present, future, and past even, if they're not willing to share the past, present, and especially the future with me. I do feel like he wants to balance out the connection. He does view you as his other half. But at the same time, he wants to embrace the in-between stage. He has been at a loss. He has felt hopeless. Right now, he's not feeling completely optimistic and sure and secure about the future. He's still building that up. He's still building those dreams. But he's not at the same place that he was. He has grown and he has survived so much. He doesn't want to go back to the past again. He knows what it's like to lose. He doesn't want to lose your love. Because when he is missing you late at night, sometimes the thought crosses his mind about losing you. And he doesn't want to let that happen. He doesn't want to let his pride or ego get in the way. But he doesn't want to give you bullshit either. He's not ready to commit right now, but it is something he is working towards. He is building his courage, building his strength. That commitment is building. But I do feel like that bond is still building. And there are still layers and levels of each other that are yet to be discovered. And I think right now he wants to focus on the present, on discovering and unraveling the mysteries, and really just enjoying each other's company. He wants things to gradually progress in a natural way. He doesn't want things forced or rushed. He knows true growth takes time, maintenance, and perseverance. And he wants that for the relationship. But he doesn't want to give you false promises. He mightn't be ready yet, but he really is working his way towards being the man that he knows you want him to be. So thank you for being here with me today. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below if this resonated and what you'd like to see next. And I will see you again very soon, group number 2. God bless. Hello and welcome, group number 3. So if you chose the 6 of Cups, then you are here in the right place. So, will the masculine on your mind commit? Let's spill the tea together. So first of all, I want to say that he views you as very sweet. He might view you as slightly naive. Maybe just when he compares you to him, maybe he feels like he's a bit more world wise than you are and he has to show you the ways of the world. This might be to protect you. I do feel like he's a protective energy. He's very alpha. He doesn't want to let anyone hurt you. I do feel like he's a dog person. He loves a loyal companion. And that's why he's very happy to not only have you by his side, but if he has any furry friends, I do feel like he's a very good pet owner. Very committed to his pets. But maybe there are other things in his life that you wish he was slightly more committed to. And even if this isn't you in particular, maybe you see that there are certain areas of his life that he may slack in. This could be due to laziness from your perspective. From his perspective, he lets his anxiety, his worries pile up and get on top of him. He doesn't really like talking about it. I feel like he doesn't always trust what comes out of his own mouth. Sometimes he feels like the way he says things, he says it wrong. It comes out wrong. Sometimes he thinks you take him up wrong when he tries to explain things. This could be when you explain your emotions. So maybe in a way, he's kind of given up on explaining his emotions because he can't find the right words. And maybe that's because when it comes to his emotions, he's in the hangman energy. And that energy is a waiting energy. He's hesitating. He's kind of thinking in his head, recalibrating, trying to figure out, okay, this is great. I'm liking where this is going. But in order to commit any further to group number 3, I am going to have to make sacrifices. And as boldly as he can come in with his promises, his sweet talks, telling you everything he is capable of doing, I feel like in ways, in the love department, he shows his love by giving. He is a giver, and he wants you to receive his passion, especially when it overcomes him. But yeah, maybe sometimes you feel like when you're trying to get to the heart of the matter or the root of the issues, he can take serious conversations and make them not so serious. He can take emotional conversations and turn them sexual because he's more confident talking about his skills with one part of his anatomy than the other. His heart chakra is a little bit blocked. And surprisingly, I'm picking up that his root chakra may also be blocked. It's not something that I even feel like he's overtly aware of. But the fact that he struggles to express himself emotionally, I feel like he struggles to apologize when he's wrong. He struggles to really have important conversations. And it's funny that I kind of laugh there. I feel like he laughs when he's uncomfortable. Because when it comes to serious conversations, dark topics, uncomfortable themes, yeah, it makes him nervous. And he'd rather just overt and leave the conversation, change the subject, jump around and not get to the point. Yeah, you can feel like he's trying to distract or redirect you. When you are trying to get a direct answer from him, you feel like he's a bit of a slippery sort of energy emotionally. But I feel like even he can't get a grip on his true emotions sometimes. Sometimes he feels like animals understand him better than humans do. He feels like animals' love languages are a lot more simple and direct than humans. But the funny thing is, when you are trying to be direct with him, that's when he runs off like a scared puppy. But ultimately, in his mind, in his heart, he feels like a lost puppy. He wants to give you everything that you deserve. He loves it when you talk about your hopes and your dreams. He loves it when you talk about yourself and he sees your face light up. When he sees what sets you on fire, that sets him on fire. He's a very passionate soul. And when he sees you getting passionate about anything, that makes him happy. But what makes him happiest is when he sees you getting passionate with him. He's good at giving pleasure. He's good at giving passion. He's good at keeping you on your toes, leaving you waiting. You feel like you're in a state of suspension sometimes. Sometimes you feel like he leaves you hanging, and that can leave you feeling uncomfortable. And when you try broach the topic with him, he can laugh it off. He can just shake off the subject and say, hey, don't worry, it's fine, you're imagining things, what are you talking about? But sometimes you can pick up when things are wrong. You can pick up when he's not fully giving his all, when his heart isn't fully in it. Because you know what a passionate soul he is. When he's really committed to something, he brings his A game. He is 101%. He has dark and deep regrets about the past. In a way, he's worried and anxious that if you knew his true past, that he wasn't always the good, compassionate, caring person he is now, that you would look at him differently. The dolphin spirit is telling us that this and that are true. So he regrets the past. He doesn't want to make the same mistakes. But when it comes to the future, he's still not fully decided. He's still wondering, waiting, humming and hawing, as one could say. Yeah, that's why he can make light of these serious subjects about commitment. It makes him uncomfortable. He's not fully ready to give you his full thoughts, his full heart. There are things he's still holding back. And the thing is, you want the communication to be more open and direct. If it was as easy as animals giving a mating call, then you would be happy and there'd be no issues. But the reality is, he can do the mating call. He can do the mating. It's when that's all been said and done, when the party's over, when you wake up the next day and have to face the reality, the responsibilities, and what the future brings, what the future beholds for this relationship. I feel like you're eager to get a move on. You're eager to start some fresh chapters and new beginnings. You're eager to fill his cup because you want him to fill your cup, fulfill your desires, your hopes and dreams of happy families. I don't feel like he always sat around thinking, yeah, I want to have a big family. I want to have this. I want to have that. But somehow, as his life progressed, he became open to these things. Maybe when he was younger, he lived the bachelor lifestyle, and it took him kind of getting that out of his system to really realize, okay, well, I don't just want to be alone. I want companions in my life. I want furry friends. I want a lover. And I want children. If he doesn't have them already, I do see him having them eventually. Maybe you want these children to be with you. Or maybe he already does have children with you. And maybe he regrets in the past not doing enough, not filling your cups emotionally or in the love department. For a while, he was acting very selfishly. There was a lot of self-exploration on his part. I feel like it's hard for him to commit until he makes sure that that's completely what he wants. Maybe he's the type that wants to try everything once, just to make sure. And I do feel like you're a patient energy. But in the back of his mind, he doesn't want to have the same regrets of the past. And the thing is, by leaving you waiting, by leaving you struggling to reach a conclusion or to have an honest and serious conversation with him, you're viewing him as a joker, hiding something. But he's hiding his emotions, his true feelings. He is worried. He is a bit of a commitment phobe, but he does want to have a future with you. This and that are true. But he's still waiting because when it comes to sacrificing some of his self-serving or self-pleasuring ways, then he realizes, well, it's not just about me anymore. I have to fill someone else's cup and please someone else all the time. It's not just about me. So once he's ready to make that sacrifice, to sacrifice his own selfishness, maybe he will gradually extend that offer of commitment. But right now, I feel like he's kind of okay in the place where he's at. He knows he's building towards a future, and he does want a future with you. But if he's leaving you hanging and leaving you waiting and selling you stories, then you can always move on to a new chapter of your life. And if he's not ready to keep up with you, that's fine. He could always catch up with you a few chapters on. Everyone's journeys are different. And even though you and him are different energies, you mightn't be able to balance it out or meet in the middle right now. But maybe he just needs to up his maturity a little bit. And maybe his communication skills could be a little or a lot better too. So I hope this kind of answered your question. Maybe it's not as direct as you'd hoped. I hope I'm not giving you the same energy as he is, but I tried my best. And I do feel like he is going to try his best too. Just give it time, but not too much time, because nobody has time to waste either. So yeah, I hope this helped. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what you'd like to see next. And God bless you, group number 3. And I will see you again very soon. God bless. Mwah. Group number 4, hello and welcome to your reading. So if you chose the Emperor, then you are here in the right place. Will he commit? And I hope I can answer that question here today. So the 3 cards that were pulled with group number 4 is the Fool, the 10 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Wands reversed. So to me, these are quite interesting energies altogether. And if we look at the picture of the Emperor, yeah, he's sitting pretty in his throne. He's looking out onto the kingdom that he's built. He does feel like he's the king of his castle, the king of his family. Yeah, he sees himself as dominant, the head of the family, as a leader. He's very stubborn. We see those horns in the background. And horns can remind you of strength, stubbornness, but also sometimes the devil. And to me, the mixture of the Emperor and a devilish sort of energy would be a strong, capable, and secure man who lets his weaknesses and temptations get the better of him. And sometimes he can shapeshift and change from an Emperor energy into a devil energy. And if that sounds intense, well, that's okay. I feel like you're intense, but I do feel like he is quietly intense. And even though he can be a loud energy, an enigmatic and charismatic energy, he likes to establish his dominance sometimes silently. Yeah, overtly. He wants to be seen as the leader, and he wants to feel that appreciation. But sometimes he has to remind himself not to let his arrogance get to his head. The thing is, he has been so confident in the past before, and things haven't gone to plan. And sometimes he does bite off more than he can chew. He can act foolish sometimes. I do feel like when this relationship began, he viewed you as his new beginning. He saw the future with you as something you could both easily soar into together. But the reality is, as the journey progressed, he's had different views, different perspectives. Maybe you flew higher than him, emotionally and spiritually wise. And when he feels below you, or underneath you in any way, that emasculates him. He wants to be the one that does the heavy lifting. He wants to be the one that makes the money and pays the bills. But also he can be so arrogant and he can be resentful about it that sometimes these things he actively wants to do and willingly does, he can still use it against you, throw it back in your face, flipping straight from that emperor energy into the devil mode. And I feel like you love him, you see the potential in him, and you've seen his good sides and his bad sides. You see his strength and you see his weaknesses. Sometimes he can be too arrogant to admit his own weaknesses. Sometimes he can be too arrogant to even apologize to you. The thing is, you know exactly what he's done wrong when he's done wrong. Sometimes he tries to hide his true feelings, his true intentions and motivations. What I mean by that is sometimes he likes to hide in the shadows. He likes to creep. He likes to stalk. The thing is, it's you. You're his prey. And he's that alpha apex predator. Maybe he could be a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. Maybe you like that about him. Maybe you like his protectiveness, his possessiveness. The thing is, I feel like this creeping, sneaky energy, yeah, it can be used on you, but it can be used against you. When you want him to be interested, it's great. But I do feel like there have been issues, possibly even on and off breakups in this connection. Because this relationship, reconciliation, rebuild shows me that he's looking out at this kingdom, at this family tree, the pentacles that he has made, the family, the life you have created together. He watches it and he feels pride, but at the same time, his arrogance can get to his head. He can get conceited and big-headed about things. He can let things slip. And sometimes when he's looking another way, he can neglect his kingdom, forget his responsibilities. He's helped build up this kingdom. But at the same time, sometimes his incompetence has led to this tower, to this kingdom, this family tree falling apart. Yes, with enough nurture, time, water, even a broken tree can grow again. And I feel like with the on and off energy I'm picking up, that with enough time and nurture and water, it heals all wounds. Even when yous are apart, yous find a way to come back together, like twin flame soulmate sort of energies. Ultimately, he sees you as his heart. He sees you as his home and his security. You're the one who minds his home, his security. Everything he's worked so hard to achieve, he can take the pride in it. He can even feel like he's done a lot of work. And sometimes he can even take your credit, take your shine, and not give you the recognition that you deserve. You're not just the caretaker for his kingdom. You're the queen of his kingdom. Sometimes you just wish he could make you feel like that empress, that queen. And sometimes you feel like he can be so focused on his own wants, his own needs. And yeah, he can ultimately be doing it for the family. But sometimes you wonder, how much is he actually just doing for you? You think he needs to take the time to really hone in on the relationship, to zone in on you, and really check in with you, ask you what you need. This family tree, this relationship has been delayed. There have been issues, things that have stopped this connection from growing. But at the same time, it has been mended. It has been reignited, reunited. Yeah, But sometimes you do feel like they need to make you feel special. You don't just want them to say it, you want them to show it. And not only just in the little ways, although they're sweet too. You want him to go out of his way to show it sometimes. Maybe you're waiting on a grand gesture for him, and maybe your expectations have been met with delays and obstacles. I do feel like he wants to commit to you, at least on paper. But when it comes down to it, to crossing the T's, dotting the I's, to doing all the paperwork, the hard work, I feel like he can get a little bit anxious and avoidant. I feel like his attachment style is an anxious avoidant. And sometimes he can let these obstacles get in the way. Even though they're obstacles in his mind, they're his demons that do continue to chase him and be attached to him. Sometimes he indulges in these demons. He cavorts with the demons sometimes, hence why they're still attached to him. So even when he is in his strong emperor energy, there are still those little weaknesses that can make him fall and give him more setbacks and delays. Maybe he feels like his life has just been a number of setbacks and delays. But he does feel like when his heart is heavy, when his heart is feeling like it can't carry anymore, you are the person who helps him deal with the burdens, all the responsibilities. When he doesn't have the energy or the inclination to maintain the kingdom or everything you've worked so hard for, he knows you can pick up the slack when he's really just not with it. And maybe that has happened more than a few times. You've had to pick up where he has dropped the ball in the relationship, in the family. Sometimes you feel like it's made you be in your masculine energy. And I'm getting that song Mask by Doja Cat, and it's spelled M-A-S-C. So not a physical mask, but the song itself represents her feeling like she has to be in her masculine energy because he's really just dropping the ball, not pulling his weight, and she has to do the work that he's not doing. And it's kind of just like a little argument that I do love you, but if you're not going to be the man and I have to be the man, then why are you here? You could be feeling like that. You could be feeling a little bit fed up. And sometimes you feel like when you want space, when you want a break, they're still always there lurking in the shadows. Yeah, the possessiveness. You love it. You loved it. But as the relationship progresses, you don't just want that sort of possessiveness. Oh, that's mine. And, being angry at other people for wanting what's theirs. You want them to cuff it, to put a ring on it, to really act the part and not just pretend that he's doing the most when he's really not all the time. But you see when he is doing the work and you see the potential and you really do believe in him and this relationship. He does love you and there is love in this connection, love in this home, even if it hasn't always been a happy and harmonious one. And ultimately, he wants you to know that you're never alone, not in this relationship. Because, as they say, there's always somebody watching you, even when you think nobody is. So that applies. You never know who is watching you. But let me just tell you right now, he is always watching you, even when he thinks you don't know about it. And that could be because of his possessiveness. And he just wants to make sure that you're his always. He wants to scope out any competition, sniff them out so he can get them out of the picture. Yeah, he can get aggressive, especially when it comes to what's his. And you are his. Your heart belongs to him. And the thing is, his heart does belong to you. He's just very disorganized, very messy, and sometimes very foolish and immature with his heart and his emotions. But I do see you giving him the pep talk and really being the queen that leads. And if he's fallen down from that emperor energy, I see you dragging him out of the depths of hell in order to bring him back up to earth, onto his throne, and to remind him, hey, you've got responsibilities. Stop cavorting with these demons. Get back here on your throne beside me where you belong. Sit your ass down and don't say anything else. So maybe I see you being the more dominant and masculine one right now, possibly even in the future. Because maybe it turns out he was all bluff, all talk when it comes to being the dominant masculine alpha. The thing is, he might have viewed you as the prey and him the predator. But you're the best kind of predator because you let your prey think that they're the ones in control of you. But ultimately, all along, you are the ruler of the kingdom, the silent ruler, because you do the work and you maintain it. And that's something that he could really do with some work on. So I do see you giving him a lesson or two and brushing him up on his skills and responsibilities. So best of luck with that, group number 4. And I hope this helped you here today. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below what you'd like to see next. And God bless you. See you soon. Bye. Group number 5, hello and welcome to your reading. So if you chose the King of Swords, then you're here in the right place. Let's find out if he wants to commit to you. So let's see. From the card itself, I'm seeing him looking at the ass over there to the left. Yeah, so about the card, I'm seeing him looking over at the ass to the left. And it's a pretty giant one, as you can see. So, his type or his preference of body parts, he is an ass man. He appreciates natural beauty. He doesn't like fake and fabulous. He wants the real, divine, natural things, the jiggly bits. That's what he likes. And if you feel insecure or like your confidence has been knocked because you worry about your weight or you worry that you don't look like all the models on Instagram, he's the sort that can appreciate things and people for how they truly and naturally are. I feel like he's very connected to the animal kingdom. He's very good with animals. Even if he doesn't have his own pets, when you see him interact with them, you feel like there is a special connection there. It's like they're drawn to him and he just has some sort of ability to be able to calm them down. He is a very wise and patient energy, and you really do view him as someone you really could settle down and have a family with. I do feel like trust is a very big thing for both of you in a relationship. For him, I feel like in the past, he was lied to. He was backstabbed. He felt like his heart has had not only one, but numerous betrayals and heartbreaks. He feels like other people's selfishness really taught him that he has to put himself first. And in the past, he might have even been in the mindset, look out for number 1. But ultimately, he is a deeper, intuitive soul. And he knows that looking out for number 1 just doesn't cut it for him. He needed to take time out after his heartbreak. He needed time to reassess his own mind, his own life, his own wants and needs. He needed to reflect and recharge. He just needed a bit of TLC and rest to restore his heart. I do feel like sometimes the past can still hurt him, and he tries not to go back there unnecessarily. It's something he wants to leave behind. And in the past, maybe he tried to escape from it or block it out. But now I do seem wise enough to realize he has to face his past in order to get through it, in order to get over it. He knows that there is work to be done. He has recovered from heartbreak in the past. And lovers could have betrayed him. He could have been left with trust issues. Perhaps he can even take out these trust issues sometimes on you. Hurt people, and he was in that energy for a while at least. He's the type that would prefer a harsh truth rather than a sweet lie. He doesn't like bullshit, fancy, fake stuff. He wants it real. He wants it raw. He wants the truth, no matter how hurtful or uncomfortable it is. Because he was lied to before. And if anything makes him angry and lose that zen that he's tried for so long to find, if anything's going to make him lose his senses or his zen again, it's being lied to. He doesn't want to be taken for a fool. He tries to respect people that he comes across. So when it comes to him being disrespected, he takes it personally. I feel like if you have made him feel disrespected in the past, well then you knew all about it. Because that is the one thing that he will not tolerate. When it comes to boundaries, he just doesn't want anyone lying to him or making a fool of him again. He wants to take life, love, his future seriously. But having such pain from the past, not only could he have been heartbroken by past loves, I feel like in ways his family have backstabbed him and let him down. In the past, I feel like he's also lost some significant loved ones that really gave him some sort of a void. And in his younger days, when he was a bit more immature, less experienced, he was looking for any and every way to fill that void. I do feel like he's gotten a lot out of his system. He feels like he's older, wiser, and more compassionate now. But it took him breaking his heart, losing his hope, and restoring that faith in love and life again for him to really embody that divine masculine energy. He knows he still has work to do. He still knows there's things he needs to reflect on and think about. He has faced certain issues from the past, but there are certainly issues that are still lingering in his mind, just waiting to be reflected on to show themselves. And he mightn't always be very vocal about it when he's going through stuff. He doesn't always find it very easy to emotionally open up and to really tell you his flaws and the places his mind goes sometimes. Maybe he feels like there are certain things you wouldn't understand, but you are just craving that recognition from him that even if you don't understand everything he's gone through or been through, you still want him to be able to trust enough in you to be able to confide. Yeah, I'm thinking of that Kylie Minogue song, Confide in Me. So maybe it's something you physically had to ask him to do. Please tell me about your past. Open up about it. I won't judge you. I won't use your weaknesses or the pains of the past against you. But I just want to know what hurt you so bad. Who hurt you so bad? Because I feel like you wanted to reassure them. You're not going to do that. You're not going to treat them in the way other people have in the past. You value their heart. You value their time and their energy. And the last thing you want to do is to break that trust, to wound their heart. You don't want to squander everything you've built and worked so hard for. I do feel like they want to propose to you. And if you are already engaged or married, it is something that they do feel ready for. And if you have not made that sort of commitment yet, I do feel like it's something they're heavily reflecting on right now. It is on their mind. They're reflecting on it. And even if they're just jumping through ideas, they know that the next step, realistically, at the stage they're at in their life, is to settle down, to fully commit, to really make this family fully complete. And even if there are already children and pets involved, I do see them wanting to add into the mix. Yeah, maybe in the past they thought it was safer to be alone and to travel with as little baggage as possible. But as they progressed through life, and as they learned the lessons, good, bad, and harsh, they realized that life can be so tough sometimes, that the one thing that always pulls them through is family, is love, is knowing there's still love left, even when love is lost in our lives. As long as he feels supported, he feels secure, he feels balanced. He wants to find that equilibrium with you. You are the yin to his yang, and you balance each other out. He wants to give you the world. He thinks you are utter perfection. You are the master of his life and his dreams. He wants to ultimately be in his master energy. But sometimes it takes you igniting that in him. Sometimes he doesn't have the strength to fully ignite it on his own. And that's not something he would admit easily or readily. But yeah, he needs you to stroke his ego sometimes in order for him to remember and remind himself what a warrior he is. Sometimes when he's in reflection mode, he can just find it hard to get up and go again. And if there has been delays in the family, in the commitment, just know it is something he really wants and has been reflecting on. If anything has been stopping him, it's been the heartbreak and lack of trust in the past. But he views you as his world. He wants to have the whole world with you. A family, children, pets, land, all of it. And ultimately, it's because he doesn't want to keep and hoard all of his emotions, all of his money, all of his feelings to himself. He knows he actually has so much to give, even if it took him a while to really realize his own worth. Now he sees what he is capable of doing, what he is capable of giving and providing, and he wants to give that to you. He wants to provide to his family. He knows there's always enough to go around. He doesn't need to keep everything all to himself anymore. He's bored of just looking out for number one. In the past, even if he did indulge in that sort of behavior, it was always something that he felt didn't really align with his soul. He's someone that always knew he was here for a deeper meaning. He had a deeper purpose. Maybe he doesn't think he's like all the other men out there. He's your typical, I'm not like other guys. But really, group number 5, he's not like other guys. And there are plenty of good guys out there and plenty of providers out there. And I do think he is in that category. That's what he wants. And it's what he needs to feel like he's doing what he has to do. He wants to feel valued in his family, but he wants to make you feel valued. He views you as perfect, as a goddess. He wants to really procreate with that goddess because you really get him into that godlike energy, and you remind him that even when he feels like it's pointless and there's no purpose, that sometimes you just need to take a rest, to reevaluate, to reflect. And when you look again, you realize you have the whole world right in front of you. And when he looks in front of him, when he sees you, when he sees the family and the fruits that you have created together in this relationship, it reminds him, yeah, this is all worth it. Even on the days that I don't feel good and I don't feel like I'm doing enough, as long as I see you happy and as long as I see my family happy, I know it's good enough. And with his own self-esteem, his own ego, he might have a bit of work to do on that. There might still be a little bit of rest and restoration needed for him in order to really and truly come into his own spiritually. I do feel like he's learned a lot of lessons and he's wise from these lessons that he's learned from the past. And he does just want a family to pass on all these wise lessons and good advice to. I feel like he's going to be the type of dad that lectures. But, you know, he just needs to make sure to say things 3 or 4 times because you just didn't hear him the first time or the second time or the third time. Yeah, if he has a point to get across, he's going to make it. He will get it across if it's the last thing he does. That wisdom is meant to be shared. His heart is meant to be shared. He doesn't want to hoard his emotions, but he does want to give it up to you. And if you feel like the next step that he needs to do is give up his inhibitions and really commit, then maybe he just needs that little extra push or that reminder. Yeah, I think he just needs a little reminder sometimes that, you know, if you really do have the world in front of you, sometimes I just want to see that language being matched in my love language. And in a female sort of a sense, it's, yeah, you're there, but you can't just be there and think that's enough either. Yeah, so what I mean is you want that little bit extra for that next step. You really want them to go all out, especially for you, especially for this family. There might be a next big step coming up in terms of your family tree or all the steps that are being taken on the journey of families. And yeah, sometimes when he's just not in his own power, he just needs you to remind him what a powerful leader he is, how much he's loved. And as long as you're telling him the truth and being real with him, then he will always try bring his true, real, authentic self to the table. And even when he feels like he's not bringing enough to the table, as long as he has your support and encouragement, he's going to keep bringing all of himself. And if that includes him really giving himself fully to you, well then, yeah, sometimes you might just have to spell it out for him. Because some people aren't good at picking up on the subtle hints. So maybe you just have to be a bit more real, raw, direct and honest. Yeah, give me that ring. Prove it. But I don't see it being a problem for him if you do bring it up. Yeah, but maybe in a more subtle way. But if you can't read subtle, then you're going to have to get inventive and creative. So enjoy. Thank you for being here with me today. Group number 5. I hope this helped. I hope this resonates. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know down below what you'd like to see next. And I will see you again very soon. God bless and goodbye.